clarion call reverberating in Marikana. Thousands and thousands turned up, keeping the fight against the Marikana massacre still alive.
What happened here 5 years ago deserves justice, and until justice is upon our people, angeke siqole, angeke sibuyele emuva, sisayifuna imali.
They were victims of a toxic capitalist system.
Those who are in power will want us to forget the brutality which was unleashed by the police under the ANC government against innocent workers who were asking for a living wage. Those who died, their spirit are still with us today and every day up to infinity. Thank you.
5 years on, the quest for justice is still getting stronger and louder.
Long live the spirit of Comrade Mambush, long live! Long live the spirit of Marikana 34, long live! Long live the spirit of Chato, long live! Long live the spirit of Mashangomo, long live! Long live the spirit of Steve Mawatu, long live! Amandla! Maibuya Africa, Maibuya! Maibuya Mnotho Africa, Maibuya!
Those workers who assembled at this copy 5 years ago were the real pioneers of the quest for radical economic emancipation. As we seek to define it today, they sought to challenge the apartheid slave wage system that has characterized our labor market for a long time. In a profit-led economy model, this wage system is an anchor for monopoly capital and the root of the exploitation of workers.
The 16th of August in the South African history is best known as a day when the anger is writ large on the faces and emotions are running high. A day, scars of which are still afresh and open. Marikana is what unites, what drives the all and sundry together.
We are here not to celebrate, but to remember our fellow comrades who were killed here, asking for a living wage. The reason we came here, it is because our struggle is to remember against forgetting. Because those who are in power will want us to forget the brutality which was unleashed by the police under the ANC government against innocent workers. There is nothing different between June 16 and Sharpeville Day and Marikana Day. Workers, working class was killed by the government. Therefore, we must remember this day all over South Africa so that government does not repeat a similar mistake.
Ngomnye wabantu Abathi kwakuba khona esisithonga ndafika kuqala apha.
I'm one of the first people who quickly responded to the call when I heard of this carnage. I am glad if most of you still commemorate this day. I hope AMCU will grow bigger to also address the issue of job losses in the gold mines through its allies in Parliament.
Ndiqinisekile leadership ye-AMCU inazo ii-allies phaa eParliament as political parties. Banako uba bangake basivizithele basicebise uba masenze njani na.
This is something South Africa should never forget. What happened here 5 years ago deserves justice, and until justice is upon our people,
we will not forgive. We won't move backwards. We still want the money.
Some would say a lot of water has flown under the bridge, but nothing seems to have changed for the victims and the affected families.
Nothing has changed. Everything is still the same, except that we are always already been the widows that have been sidelined since from the past. Amongst all the 44 widows, remember we are 10 widows and 34 widows. So only the concentration is given to the 34 widows always. My wish is to see justice happening, in regardless of the people that are accused. I heard to my legal team that they wanted the state to withdraw the cases. I still need a closure because I don't know anyone who has a responsibility in killing my husband. So I really need to see someone, even if they can come to me to say we apologize. I'm willing to forgive and move on with my life.
The life is different. There is change since the father of the house was no more. I would like the justice to play its part for those people who have done this to us. There is no means for us to get more money since I am the only one working. It's not enough since it's many of us. Since my husband was the only man in the family, there is no one else working and everyone is depending on me. Not only my children, but his sisters as well.
Here in South Africa, when you are fighting for your rights, it seems like you always have to strike. The workers weren't wrong when they were speaking up about their rights. They didn't need to be killed. Our children were killed on this hill without having done anything. From these police who killed people in the middle of the day, not a single one was arrested. How can one worker kill another when they are all fighting for the same thing?
So many voices, the saddening sentiments, and the pain for the lifetime. All this has one thing in common.
We were very clear that while we were sorry that they lost their loved ones, their parents, their brothers, and that we would never bring that love back, we could at least do something to make sure their lives, that they would have new possibilities for their lives. As you would have seen some of those kids, they were typically never born with a silver spoon in their mouth, but they have possibilities today.
Cyril needs to be arrested. Cyril must taste jail. He must go to prison for all the murders that happened here at Kopi. He must be arrested. He's a murderer.
Deputy President, he acknowledged 3,500 as a minimum wage, of which he confirmed
that the workers that got killed here, it wasn't a mistake. They did it purposefully, and I am saddened that NACTU went and signed on the minimum wage.
Our union, AMCO, is doing their best since 2012. The company does not want to do anything up to so far. It's only the union, the trade union, which is AMCO, that is trying to do something in their best to build the houses for those widows, and we as the workers, we are trying, but our hearts are sore.
Nothing has changed, but we are not good with this thing because nobody's arrested. The one who commanded the people to shoot the people, justice must be done. Justice must be done. That is the only thing we are not fight about it.
I would like to thank our president, Mr. Matunja, for the job well done for the loan employees, because his arrival meant a lot to our grievances.
Kuthe kwakufika ipresident Mr. Matunja kwaba khona utshintsho kwizinto ebesizikhalela singabasebenzi.
The ghost of Marikana is still haunting Deputy President and the then Lonmin shareholder Cyril Ramaphosa.
That word, that infamous sentence of concomitant action is very critical. And it is alleged that it might largely have played a role in terms of the action. You know, it's alleged. And I'm saying a number of people is very clear. Now, there is no way that you can undermine the role the supposed role that have been played by the Deputy President. What I do think must happen, because the Deputy President is a Deputy President of the South African government, and he's also responsible for government business, meaning that he has massive influence in how government must operate. Now, here he's faced with so many things. Currently, most of those guys are staying in shacks. There is no electricity, there is no water. For him to at least show some courtesy, to say, yes, I think I need to do something more because of what is.
Mr. Ramaphosa was a board member at Loan Mill and looking under the Department of Transformation. So he has failed to transform the Marikana communities and the lives of the employees in terms of their living conditions, the poverty that is there and visible on the ground. People do not have sanitation, they do not have a proper place to stay. So it's just a mess.
In one moment, those 34 Marikana miners became history. Never should it happen again. The Marikana miners demand justice, and the guilty must be brought to books.
Cyril is asking for forgiveness by using Winnie Mandela because she's one of the Mandela family, and he's putting her as a shield to the people who have been badly hurt by him. This was not the first time he has done us wrong. At first, he took money from workers called Ngwale, and today he is asking for forgiveness. He had never apologized for many years. He's only doing this because he wants to become the president of this country. What will prevent him from being the president is the Marikana saga.
Into ezokumvalela yile nto yalapha eMarikana. 29-year-old Magidiwana was shot 7 times on that fateful day. His frustration is evident.
Ingaba urhulumente lento wayenza kuthi
Does the government understand that what had happened to us is one of the things that will destroy this nation? Because all the problems we have are because of what happened in Marikana. You go to schools, the kids are struggling financially because of what happened in Marikana. Police are shooting people. Ministers are doing things that are not clear. This is all because of our tears that we shed during that time. Forgiveness is what we have only when someone shows that a person is who they are because of other people. I'm not going to show them what to do. They know what they have to do when they ask for forgiveness.
Lonmin, on the other hand, claims help has been extended, but the question remains, is the aid enough?
Marikana is a very sad catalyst for positive change. It was very unfortunate. We have called it the week that changed our lives, because in that week, 44 of our colleagues passed away. And in talking about what has changed ever since then, we are very conscious that we can never bring back our employees' loved ones. We can never bring back our fellow workers who died in that week. But we have sought to go and hope that we can improve their lives in manners that we know we could. So we have done a lot of work, particularly for the dependents. We also have done quite a lot of work for our employees and their living conditions. And we've also done quite a bit of work with communities. Obviously, the challenge in the social fabric today are massive, with unemployment and poverty. So one understands that we still haven't resolved everything.
Amnesty International South Africa too cries out for justice. It says, if the South African government wants to demonstrate that it is committed to truth and human rights, it needs to ensure that the wheels of justice start turning far faster than they have done over the past 5 years. The triggering factor for the tragedy of this scale was the demand for a better life.
And comrades, we must know that the cruel event of this day in 2012 still mark an important milestone on our journey towards a living wage. It was a step closer to radical economic emancipation in the lives of workers. In 2012, AMCO found the workers languishing at a mere basic salary of 5,713 underground worker. The current wage agreement, which expires in 2018, will take a Cat 4 general worker underground to a basic salary of 11,713 rands. A surface category 4 employees will be at 10,921 rand.
But what we saw in 2012 here in Marikana told us that South Africa is not yet free. You got democracy in 1994, but you have not yet found your freedom. I watched on television and I thought I'm seeing a movie until I read newspaper articles showing me that it really happened. We are here to say, never again must the workers be killed for fighting for their dignity and their freedom.
But we come here to honor you, to honor your struggle. You have opened the miners here at the Lonmin Corporation have opened a new chapter in the struggle of the 21st century. Your struggle has shown us what we are up against. Not only the failure of the state to do its duty to protect the rights of the workers, but also the absolute intransigence of the corporation, who continues for 5 years afterwards to continue with business as usual. So we come with greetings of solidarity to the families, to the wives, to the children, to the mothers and the fathers who gave this community such stalwart spirits in the 34 workers who died.
When you look at this Marikana commemoration, it's now becoming political because now this is the 5th one and there's never been any solution. So they come in, year out, just for rhetoric talks without any solution. So that must come to an end. If they are parliamentarians, most of them who goes there, and they are in decision making as part of the government. So they should stop blaming other people and pointing fingers and starting acting themselves in making sure that justice is brought to the people of Marikana and the communities and the employees.
There has been no justice in Marikana in the past 5 years. It's a disgrace that we are talking about 5 years and yet not a single cent has been paid in compensation to our people.
The findings were very clear to say what must happen with a number of issues that have been recommended. Now, one would say without any fear that I think a number of things has not been done, a number of things still have to be done, and partly Loanman, together with our government, has done a little in relation to that thing. But what is important for me is that there is this compensation issue that is very, very serious for the lives of the Marikana people, especially the affected ones. Now, the state has already considered liability, meaning that they have agreed that at some point they were at fault in terms of the project itself. Now, when we have considered liability, what is left now is for you to be able to speak quantum. Quantum means you will have to now agree on the how much part thereof. And I think it's really unacceptable for both the lawyers of these guys as well as government to take so long for them to resolve the issues of quantum. By now, one would have assumed that people should at least have had some compensation in order for their life to be bettered, but it appears that that's not the case.
So what is the way forward? A truce? A negotiated existence? Or something that can mitigate, if not remove, the scars of the massacre?
Side, our doors is open for every day for the negotiation between Loanman and ourselves. We need to sit down. And as I said, now the doors are open. We are waiting for them to come to us so that we can discuss these issues.
Marikana is a very sad catalyst for positive change. It was very unfortunate. We have called it the week that changed our lives because in that week, 44 of our colleagues passed away. And in talking about what has changed ever since then, we are very conscious that we can never bring back our employees' loved ones. We can never bring back our fellow workers who died in that week. But we have sought to go and hope that we can improve their lives in manners that we know we could. So we have done a lot of work, particularly for the dependents. We also have done quite a lot of work for our employees and their living conditions. And we've also done quite a bit of work with communities. Obviously, the challenge in the social fabric today are massive with unemployment and poverty. So one understands that we still haven't resolved everything.
I'm saying the report is very clear to say the NPA must continue with the investigation to ensure that those that are responsible must be held accountable. And it's not difficult for you to can find those guys. All what they need to do is to speed up the process of ensuring that people that are accountable must be found and be able to then held accountable and see how far you take this.
Falam Commission will not be the last word on what happened here. The truth is going to come. We are still going to overturn that commission, and the reality of what happened here is going to come out.
I asked Rapieha herself that she must name and shame those who are holding her chains, because it will help us and it will also help her. She carries the information that can help both of us, because we don't believe that it was at her own will that she did what she did. She was instructed by certain people. So we want Rapieha to name and shame those who are involved.
As yet another Marikana anniversary comes and goes by, little or nothing has changed for these families. How many more commemorations will it take before justice is delivered and the lives lost finally rest in peace?